Who is the head of the family in your culture? To be honest, our country has a strong Confucian culture that requires respect for parents. Very nicely phrased. Very good. Okay, so the father. Articles.
Okay.
Is the leader of the family because most fathers, because it's most, so it's plural, work for their family. Also, fathers often make big decisions about their families, such as buying a house or car. Okay, good. Yeah, very good. Are men at making decisions in a family? Yes, of course they are. Oh, you haven't written that. You've written something different. Oh, right, okay. So I don't think so. I don't think so. Making decision, okay, either making a decision or making decisions plural. Ah, no, in that case, is require. Okay, making decisions. Okay, I see what you said here. So making decisions, not is require. Requires. Requires a lot of things like experience, forecast, and plan B. Plan. Now then, would that be plans B, or would it be plan Bs?
Really?
I'm just asking you the question, but actually it wouldn't be a plan Bs because it would be plan B or C.
Is
Or C. Plan B or C, because you can't have two plan Bs. You can have a plan B and a plan C.
How about the other options? Like
Yeah, probably easier. So yeah, and other options. Yes, I think that's better actually. Every situation requires a wise and rational decision, not wisely, a wise and rational decision, and every time a decision is made based on various experiences. Sometimes women make wise decisions. Not sure I agree with that, but anyway, women sometimes make wise decisions, especially about relationships. So I don't think men always make good decisions. Okay, I mean overall the answer is a very good answer, right? Right. Do you think that more men than women leaders will change in the future? Actually, women are more independent and knowledgeable through higher education in the case of South Korea. Okay, when you say are more, so you mean women actually maybe need to add there these days. Women are, yeah, because that qualification is needed there. Okay, blah, blah, blah. In the case of South Korea, oh, I see. So in the case of South Korea, okay, just a woman. President was elected by the people.
In 2000 something? Like, should I have mentioned the year?
Could do, yeah. Okay, in 2000 and whatever it was.
Yeah, I
don't know what it was.
Year.
Okay, so I think that kinds of evolution. I think that is
Is
a kind of evolution. However, I don't think there will be more women than male leaders in 10 years. There is still a lot of prejudice and discrimination. I think Korean society has to work harder to lose its awareness of sexism. I don't think they want to lose their awareness of sexism. I think they need to overcome their sexism.
overcome.
Okay, so So the examiner might say to you at that point, because you've quite naturally you've talked about it in terms of career, although it doesn't actually specify your country. It just says about women and men in general. So it could be worldwide. So do you think that the rest of the world will have more female leaders than male leaders in the future?
I know many other country, there's less sexism than my country. However, I think it's not possible the woman reader rather than male reader.
Why?
Why? There is still prejudice and discrimination exists. So we have to overcome those. Even United States or European country.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with what you're saying, but actually, in a way, yes, you're correct in what you're saying, but I think it's not the whole story. I think there's a lot more to answering the question, because you're framing it in terms of sexism, that women are not being allowed to be leaders, which I think in some countries, maybe in Korea, is generally true, that women are held back by sexism. I think that's probably true, and you're not the worst country, you're not the best country, you're probably somewhere in the middle for that kind of thing. But I don't think that's actually the main cause of women not becoming leaders. I think it's actually biology that stops women becoming leaders. It's the fact that that women have to take time out of their careers to have babies and raise babies, and that interruption of their career is, for most of them, is going to be at a critical time when men are advancing their careers as say middle managers in their 30s. A lot of women are taking that time as their last chance to have a baby, and so they fall behind men on the career ladder. And if they have the normal or the average 2 children, that's 2 steps at least behind on the career ladder that they can never catch up with men, because men have never really have those interruptions to their career. So men are always going to reach the top higher, and it's not to do with sexism, it's to do with biology, I think.
Right.
So in answer to the question, I think no, it's probably, I don't think we'll ever even reach a case where there are an equal number of female and male leaders. I don't think we'll ever reach that situation because of biology. I think we may get to a stage where maybe 35% of the leaders are female, and that is probably as high as it will ever get because of biology.
That's reasonable, and yeah, it's much better.
Okay. So for just as the reason I take 35% as being a specific number is the number of female members of parliament in the UK Parliament, in our elected body, is 35%.
At least.
It is 35%. So in our parliament we have 650 members, and say 200 plus of those are women. So I think that's, and they complain. They say there should be 50%, but actually they're overlooking something fairly obvious, which is a lot of them, just don't find it very difficult, and so they complain. Well, you can't really complain about biology, can you? You can't say it's unfair that I was born a woman and I have babies. That's just the way it is. That's half of the population is going to be female, half the population is going to be male, and having babies just happens to be part of female biology, and it's going to stop them advancing their careers. I think it's not something to complain about. It's just that's just the way the world is. Of course, the choice that a lot of women now take is they say, well, I'm not going to get married, or I'm not going to have any babies because I want to get to the top of my career. And what you tend to find in Western countries where they've made those choices since the 1960s is that when women get to their late 40s and 50s, they actually regret making that choice. They say, I wish I'd had children. And so, getting to the top of my career, being a CEO of a company, they say, actually, that's what I wanted. That was my goal from the time I was in university. All of my working life, I want to be the CEO. But once I got there, I wish I'd had children instead. That would have been far more fulfilling to my life than actually being a CEO. So, it's in some ways it's a false choice that they're making. They think equality in jobs is everything for them, and actually, in reality, maybe it's not. For some women, it might be, but I think for a lot of women who make that choice, they regret it afterwards. Right. Okay. So, should a leader discuss decisions with team members?
Well, I don't think so, because the leader have to listen their members' wants because of the leader. However, in the case of decision making, when the leader have to decision making, the leader don't have to discuss about the decision, because the leader cannot decision wisely, because the members have a lot of opinions. So when the leader making a decision, I think make decision alone is better. That's efficiency and like, because I was a leader in a club, but many members have a variety of opinions, so I try to make a decision altogether, but it wasn't work, and it wasn't good for us, our team. So in the case of big company, they have routes for listening employees' opinion and new ideas. However, why the company make a decision altogether? That's very hard, and they want to make better decisions. So I think it doesn't need to discuss when making decisions.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling when you're trying to discuss. When you try to be fair with people. I should do the right thing and listen to what everybody's got to say, and then half the people have got absolutely nonsense ideas, or they don't stick to the point, or they talk about something, you think, oh, why am I still listening to this person? Because they've got nothing to contribute. But you have to nod and be polite to them and listen to all that they've got to say, and then you ask somebody else, and they say completely the opposite thing. And how do you put all of those things together? Okay, this is okay. So again, this is a typical IELTS question where they're asking you to make an absolute decision about should a leader. They're presenting you with a yes or no question, and you think that you've got to make a choice, yes or no. Actually, you don't have to. You don't have to make that choice. You could say, in some situations, it's much better to have a decisive leader who just makes decisions and leads by example, makes decisions, and if he gets it wrong, he gets it wrong. If it's his own company, for example, if somebody owns a company, if they've created that company from being a very small thing and they've grown it into a larger company, and they're now employing lots of people, of course, they started the company. Why should they listen to everybody else telling them what to do? They started it. There wouldn't be a company if it hadn't been for them. So they don't really want to listen to other people's decisions on that, or listen to have a discussion with people. The only reason all those people are there is because they started the company. But at the same time, if they're employing experts in the company, then why do they employ experts if it's not to listen to what those experts have got to say? So in some situations, you want to listen to what your experts are saying. You make the decision, but you still listen to what people are saying because they are an expert. But that doesn't mean to say that you have to listen to everybody in the company. So maybe what you need to do is, if you're a smart leader, is you restrict the amount of time or chance for people to actually have that discussion. Typically, what does a company do? A large company, they have a suggestion box.
Suggestion box and experts, right?
Well, I worked in a factory. After I graduated, I worked in a pharmaceutical factory for a year. And they did the right thing. What a good company should do. They listened to their employees. So that in every department there was a suggestion box, and there was a sheet of paper with a tear off tag, and you could write something on there. You didn't have to put your name on there, and you could put it in the box. And at the end of every week or every month, they would look at all of these things, and they'd probably half of them they go, "What a stupid idea that is! That's another stupid idea." Oh, look, this one's got a good idea. Maybe that's going to save us money. And that was the idea, was that maybe 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 1,000 ideas would actually save the company a lot of money or make them more money. And so that's useful. That's a useful discussion. And it doesn't involve having a discussion, though. It's just getting the idea. And maybe if they put their name on it, you give them a reward for it. You give them 10% of something or other, and so or you share it out amongst the employees. It doesn't really matter. The employees feel that they're being heard, the management's getting some better ideas, and everybody's happy. But what you don't want to have every week is a discussion with everybody in the company about what, I'm the leader, this is what I'm intending to do next week, and they all, oh no, I don't agree with that, I don't like that idea at all. You don't want to hear people like that. I agree with you, but at the same time, what you're saying is about listening to nobody. Isn't that what Kim Jong-un does? Doesn't he make all the decisions on his own without listening to everyone?
That's different.
No, it's exactly the same.
Not really. Totally different.
That's what's called being a dictator.
I was talking about it based on democracy, However, it isn't.
Well, yeah, but even in democracies, people get it wrong in democracies. Like, if you look at the present U.S. government with Trump as the president, he's making a complete mess of managing COVID-19, and so is the U.K. Prime Minister and all of his cabinet, all of his ministers are making a total mess of COVID-19 and the Brexit from the European Union and many other things as well. So by voting them in, you think you're going to get a better decision or better outcome. It doesn't necessarily work by having a democracy. there's a description of democracy is that it's the least worst system of running a country. In other words, it's not perfect, but it's probably the least worst. All the others, dictatorship is far worse than a democracy. So I think it's and most democracies are not genuine democracies anyway. So I think that's not, and and for the same reasons, you don't want to listen to everybody all the time. There's too much noise and not enough. So I think should a leader, to go back to the question, should a leader discuss decisions with team members? Again, remember the 3 strategies for answering questions. It depends. It's always a useful one for things like this because if you choose to describe a dictatorship the way you did, I can guarantee the examiner is going to put to you the case for a democracy. If you choose a democracy, he will choose a situation that needs a dictatorship. So why not take that away from him and say, well, it depends. In some situations, it's better to just make decisions because the situation demands a quick decision. Like in an emergency situation, you can't listen to everybody. But in some other situations, then it's probably better to listen to the experts or to take a referendum of the people and to let the people decide. Okay, you've answered the question.
Referenter?
A referendum.
Referendum. And I want to ask you, I want to say it depends on the situation, it depends on the age or gender, like that. I always, especially part 3, I want to rephrase it depends on, like that.
Because you think you might be saying it too often?
Too often, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, so instead of saying it depends, you could just say in some situations that might work, but in other situations it won't. Or you could say on the one hand and on the other hand. So, but I think overall, what I'm saying is, it's an answer where you can give both sides of the in response to the question.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Let's move on to some new questions. It's time we moved on to some new questions. So, cooking. Is it difficult for you to learn to cook Korean food?
Well, not really. It's very easy to cook Korean food. This is because the development of internet. I can watch on YouTube how to cook Korean food, and also, especially in Korean food, the ingredients are very similar. Every single food. That's why it's easy to learn.
Okay, you're the first person that's told me that. Normally I get a story from all the nurses about how complicated Korean food is and how you've got to. I think when you're saying it's the same ingredients, kimchi seems to be involved in a lot of different dishes. That you use kimchi as like a soup, or you use it for something else, or you use it as a flavoring or something like that. Is that basically true? But they were telling me that there's so many different kinds of kimchi that's what makes it complicated.
But when I cook tteokbokki, or when I cook kimchi jjigae, or when I cook pork stir fry, the many ingredients is same. Just put in the water or some special the main food is different, but I think I'm not good at cooking though.
Oh, it sounds like you are.
But when I learning Korean food cooking through on a YouTube, but I can mimic.
Yeah. Okay, well, don't tell me too much, because we've got more questions, and that might be the answer to the next question. So, okay, so do you want to learn how to cook?
Of course, because I have a husband. He really likes eating food. So as much as possible, I want to learn how to cook not only Korean food, but also American and Chinese food.
Okay, all right. Who taught you how to cook?
Well, in fact, my mother taught me how to cook. The basic is egg fries. When I was 15 years old, she taught me how to use the fire and use fry pan.
Okay. Do you like cooking?
To be honest, I don't like cooking because I think cooking is comprehensive. Cooking requires comprehensive skills because that it needs hand skills and tasting and then decoration is very important. But I'm not good at decoration, so cooking is very hard for me.
Okay, all right. Good answers, all good answers. All right, let's move on to another topic. Public gardens. Do you think there are enough public gardens in your hometown?
Well, there isn't much public garden because in my hometown there are various beaches rather than gardens. But there are some little parks. They have small gardens, but I think it isn't enough.
Okay, all right. You've answered the question. There aren't enough. Okay. Are there many public gardens in Korea?
In Korea, I don't know much about that, but some cities advertisement about public garden for kind of tour. So, well, it might be, I think the garden, public garden is enough, especially the Gangwon province. There are a variety of public gardens like herb gardens and wild field flowers garden, something like that.
Okay. Does it depend on from city to city? Is it different from one city to another, or from one city to a town, whether there are enough gardens there?
Right. But a big city isn't enough public garden. However, the rural area or like on some countryside have a large public gardens. Yeah.
Okay. Why do people in cities like public gardens?
Well, in the mega city, there's a lot of bad air pollution because there are a lot of cars and emissions through industry the factories. So they want to feel fresh air through a public garden.
Do you
That's
think
why they
do you think the plants in the public garden are so effective at cleaning the air?
Sure, of course. I read some article. There's the plants really helps the air circulation. So a year ago, some experts interview on the news about the better air condition indoor at home. So many people buy some plants for the air condition in my country.
Yeah. Okay. I think the reason that people they may think that, they may believe that, but actually I don't. Do plants make any difference to air quality? A little, I would say a little, but not enough. If you've got small areas of public gardens, or even if you've got a large park, that's still, compared to the rest of the city, it's such a small area, it's not going to make enough of a difference. It might help a little tiny bit, but it's really not going to make much of a difference. So I think the reason that people in cities like public gardens, especially I would say in Asian cities where people live in apartments, is because in their apartment they don't have enough space. And so I think what they like to do is, the reason they like to sit out somewhere with, as you say, fresh air or fresher air, cooler temperatures maybe. Temperatures might now there's a big difference in what a garden does for reducing the temperature. If you've got lots of trees and shade, it will reduce the temperature. But actually cleaning up the air quality, it's only going to be a very small amount. But it does give people, yes, it brings people closer to nature, so they feel better because there's trees and there's flowers and there's grass in front of them. I think they feel better because of that. So psychologically, it's good for them. And the sense of space, I think, is probably the most important thing.
And then also the taking a picture is good place.
Yeah. As a backdrop for the photograph. Yeah.
Backdrop.
Okay, so the next question we've already discussed. What do you think are the benefits of having gardens in the city? So I think air quality may be a public perception that air quality is going to be improved, but I think that's actually it's very minimal. I think it's a sense of, I'd say it's mental health. I'd say that the main benefit of having gardens in the city is it improves people's mental health.
And I think for the educational reasons, there are a variety of kind of plants, so kids can learn directly through a book. So that's one of the reasons.
Yeah, I mean, and in some like if you have what they call a botanical garden. Have you ever been to a botanical garden? Okay, if you go to the middle of Singapore, at the end of Orchard Road, there is a botanical garden, and it's absolutely beautiful. So it's like a park, but every single tree has got a label at the bottom of it saying what that tree is. So they give you the name of the tree, the scientific name of the tree, and sometimes they'll give you which is the original country that the tree was found in. As an explanation, what it can be used for. Is it fruiting? Is it used for its wood? They give you all of these explanations. So a botanical garden, absolutely, that's another educational.
Botanical garden and botanical garden. I think in Korea, almost most of gardens have the name of the tree and some explanation about the usage and how old is tree, like that. Okay.
Right. Okay. Have we got enough time for you to do a part 2 question? Do you think? Maybe. Oh, I don't know. This is quite a good. This is quite a, well. We've got enough time. We've got enough time. As long as you don't. As long as you get straight on with it. So let's get straight on with it. Let's give you 1 minute to think. You can see the question. Yes, I'll answer for you. So I will give you. Got your pen and paper? Yes. So I'll give you 1 minute to think about the topic. Your time starts now. Right, that's your 1 minute of thinking time. So I'd like you to talk about the topic for between 1 and 2 minutes, and your time starts now.
I would like to talk about the United States that I want to know more about. It's located in North part America continent. I had lived 2 years in America, especially Michigan. That is, I want to know more about the country. The first of all, the history. I don't really know about American history specifically, but when I'm watching TV, the people talk a lot of their history and through the near future. So I want to learn American history from any college or school. Secondly, I want to know about the culture. Even I lived in there 2 years, I don't know much about American culture. I know a little bit, I think. So, for example, their thoughts and behaviors from their culture, but I want to understand their reasonable reasons through the culture. So for these reasons, I want to know the United States. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Perfect timing. 2 minutes exactly. Very good. Okay, we'll have to finish it there because I've got to rush on because we're over time. But that was very good. That was very good. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it was good.
How about my fluency in?
I'd say your fluency is improving. It's better than it was a week ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But you know, I think it's a topic that you find interesting. It's always helps with a topic. No, of course, it's like anybody else. If it's the right topic, then it's something you can talk easily about. If it's a difficult topic or a boring topic, then it's very difficult to be fluent. No, I thought that was very good.
Actually, I thought I'm not good at speaking day by day. Go lose my skill, and then when I speak in English, I thought I'm not. I don't know how to say. A month ago, I was better than now.
Oh, really? Oh. Well, I don't take any responsibility for that. That's probably because a month ago you hadn't been in Korea for so long, and probably what's happening is that more and more you're using Korean language on a daily basis and not using so much English as you were when you first arrived there, and that is, I guarantee that's going to have an effect on bringing because you're starting to think in Korean, whereas when you're in America, you're probably more often thinking in English. So that will have a detrimental effect. So you've really got to focus on not speaking Korean to your friends. If you meet your friends for coffee every day, that's going to have a bad effect on your English. Okay, I've got to go because I've got another student to get to. So okay. I'll see you same time tomorrow. So if you found this IELTS class useful, informative, or entertaining, please give it a like. subscribe, and share with other people who you think might benefit from these live IELTS class videos using actual examination topics. Most of the students participating in these classes are now living their dream in English-speaking countries around the world. If you want classes with me, you can contact me on X, LinkedIn, MS Teams or Viber. Details are given in the description below or on the About page for this channel. Thank you.